Hello, everybody. Good evening, and it's now 10 o'clock evening, and it's time for us to begin with Sales and Marketing Breakthrough Volume 5. Right now, I am Wesley, and here we have Lawrence joining us today. Lawrence, you want to say hi to our friends?
Hi, everybody. How are you? I hope everyone is well.
Yeah, and very honored to have Chesney here as well. Chesney, want to say hi to our friends?
Hi everyone.
All right, and today's topic is interesting because we talk about how to market your brand. All right, which I think comes in very timely right now in terms of post MCO. Now it's been an RMCO, so now it's time for us to capture the sales and marketing revenue that we have lost previously. In case if you have, right? Okay, so today we are very honored to have Chesney American, the head of marketing communications from Unimi. Did I get your name right?
Yeah, that's Unimai.
All right, and for those of you joining this right now, would like to welcome all of you watching this, and to also drop us hi, let us know you are here, and I will just take a few minutes for us to just create a screen share right here. And again, for those of you here just joining, say hi to us, and let us know that you have joined. And would like to invite all of you to also like and share today's video as well, so it can benefit many more people out there.
Yeah.
All right, and Lawrence, since that we have a new exciting thing coming up now, it's called Live Communications. It's not called My School of Life. Lawrence, you want to explain more on that?
Yeah. I think thank you so much, Wesley. I think we have moved on for very long. I think 80 over 90 days soon of MCO. We have done I think more than 50, 60 live interviews. So actually that the MCO helped my printers to be more focused exactly on what we are doing. So that's why we gave a new birth to live comms, which after this going to be focusing on doing campaigns for our corporate clients, and we're gonna do a lot of digital marketing and events for clients. So basically, that's it. It's a very new entity that my practice will be hosting after this.
All right, so exciting, and so it's exciting to have this new entity coming up. And just for those of you who wonder, and what is it not My Practice? It's basically the same entity, just come in different forms right now. All right.
Yeah.
So we have Chesney here today, and Chesney, would you just want to quickly introduce yourself?
Sure. Firstly, I'd like to thank you so much for having me here at this live Facebook session. I'm really grateful to be invited to discuss about how to market your brand. Um, Currently the head of marketing communications at Unimai, but I've spent the last 20 years in Fortune 500 companies, Walmart, Petronas, YTL, Harvard Jewel, Citibank, and I've also founded a few startups of my own, like Check It Out Worldwide and Chesney's Bakery, building brands from scratch and making them a globally recognized brand. So
Yeah.
that's a bit about me.
All right, good. So you have like a vast experience. I heard of the big brands and all. I heard that Chesney, what you're like what cookies, something like that.
Yeah, Chesney's Bakery. I really, I like to bake, so I decided to open my own bakery.
All right. So what do you do in Unimi now?
So now we are rebranding Unimai to the best tech and innovation university in the world. We look at bringing the best tech programs for Malaysians, especially also international students who are looking at trending tech like data, IoT, AI. So a lot of the tech jobs that are out there, we're making sure we have enough graduates to fill them.
Okay, that's exciting. All right. So I heard of
Yeah.
things like AI and all those things, which I think comes in very timely. So it's not the conventional route that a lot of people are taking, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like basically with tech, it's every 3 months is a new tech that comes out. So we kind of want to make sure that the students are prepared for those jobs that are out there. So
Mm.
and it's interesting because the tech gets a lot more, how do you say, canggih in Malaysian, that there's just I guess the sky's the limit, and before you know it, you have self-driving cars, drones to deliver your goods, and basically robots to help you around the house. So, so that's why it's exciting to be in that kind of environment.
And speaking of which, I have a lot of questions for you since we talk about tech industry and all, because now I think it's very timely. But before we just go into that, Now, for those of you who have just joined us here, I would like to welcome all of you to just say hi. Let us know that you are here. Drop us a hi, show us your love. And today we're going to talk about how to market your brand. And now, so Shazli, would you mind to just enlighten us? What is the importance of brand management? Why do you think it's important?
Well, brand management is basically three key things that basically a brand is what you see, is what you feel, and what you experience. So I think it's important for especially your customers to know the story about you. So from your tagline, which is your brand promise, the brand value, which is the financial aspects of your brand, and how much your brand is performing in terms of market share and mind share. So brand management ensures your brand is actually top of your customer's mind compared to your competitors. So, and for me, it's really important because it ensures that brand recall and brand loyalty throughout your customer's lifetime, and even many generations after will remember your brand. So if you notice, like, brands like Coca-Cola, Colgate, and a lot of the brands that you see in your daily life, they built their brands 100 years ago. So to make sure that even your grandkids will be able to remember their brand. So that's why brand management is important.
Okay, so thanks for that. And so speaking of which, you talk about brand management, right? So I'm sure that you have got a lot of experiences that you would like to share today. Now, of course, some highs and the lows and the ups and the downs, right? So I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask you the next question now. What are some of your favorite marketing campaigns?
Well, I've been very fortunate to have seen how Petronas grew their brand to be the number one brand they are today, and it started out with the Petronas Merdeka ads, and we had brought in Leo Burnett to help us craft the ad, and we would like to actually show you the impact of a brand and how it's going to reflect what people feel about the brand. So this is more about the emotional part of branding. So if you don't mind, if you could share the ad that I'm talking about, this is the first Petronas Merdeka ad. Since then we've had so many other ads for Petronas. So I hope you can. I'll just play it for you.
Okay, for those of you here watching this today is quite special because during the pre-call, we decided to just give something different here today. So Shazni has actually selected like the favorite marketing campaign that she's ever done, and we're gonna show it to you right now, everybody. So yep, Shazni, over to you.
Can you hear it? Is it everything okay? So basically, that was the first Merdeka ad that we helped Petronas come up with. So let me just off that. Um, but yeah, it would be hard not to cry at that kind of ad, and it's hard for people not to remember the ad, and it's all to do with the feeling part of branding. So that's why we try to touch people's hearts through branding. And I was very lucky to be involved in that project. Yeah.
All right, so I have a follow-up question. So since you brought this up, and I'm a big fan, I'm a huge fan of Petronas campaigns like that. So I still remember there was one during my time when I was in my school. You know, there's this one advertisement from Petronas. There's like the param, you know, when they're little kids, and then they play with fishing rod, and then they kena the finger, and then they bleed, and they meet again. Now, I want to specifically ask you, and since you have showed this, right now, how did you all decide to put the emotional element in this kind of marketing campaign? How did you all do this?
I think it is first we did a lot of research about our customers, who they were, who we wanted to, target, and mostly if you notice, with Merdeka, then I think not a lot of brands thought about using Merdeka as a platform to create emotional attachment. And we were very lucky. Leo Burnett had a very good producer, Yasmin Ahmad, who knew how to bring out the emotions from people, and I think she did it so well that it's been the mainstay for Petronas throughout these years, and I'm glad that because it also unites people, and that's also another thing that helps you create that strong brand loyalty, brand recall. So I guess we got lucky on that campaign that it became a tradition. So it was so good that it became a tradition for Petronas. Yeah.
I think I unfortunately although we couldn't hear the sound of the video, but even the video itself actually has already bring a lot of meaning. And actually today I was actually brainstorming on some of our Merdeka campaigns that we plan to do. So thank you so much for that video. I think it comes in very timely.
I'm so sorry for the audio. So sorry.
Yeah, no worries. I actually shared the link in the comment section. So I think whoever else that wants to cry, and I think they can click on the comment and go and watch it. But Chesney, just to let you know, when we do the live interviews, right? Usually Wesley is a nice person. I'm usually the one that is going to ask the very difficult questions, right? So I'm sure you have read the questions that we have shared with you. But I think this is one thing that I really want to ask you. So you mentioned about marketing, right? Marketing that brings up brand loyalty and etc. But I think today a lot of people are also doing, in whichever way, marketing, promoting themselves or their services. How do you see that we need to find a balance between doing very good marketing, but at the same time making sure that whatever that you're trying to market has its how do I put it? Has its value, or it's really as good as how you're marketing it. I hope you understand what I mean. So, which is actually more important? Being very good in doing marketing, getting people to be enticed, or making sure that whatever that you have, be it services or be it on product, making sure that it's at utmost standard, or which one it's more important?
I think essentially you do have to make sure you have a good product that you're selling, because people, once they don't have a good experience with your brand, they will start going to your competitors, and it'll be a very short campaign, because you only get them for that one buy or one promotion. So if you had come up with the processes, systems, the people, technology, strategy around your brand, it's really, really knowing about the end to end of your brand, meaning from the time you create your product to the time that the customer actually experiences your product. So if you know each red flag that the customer goes through experiencing your product, you just have to fix that. And with a lot of the brands that I've worked on, like even with Petronas, Sepang International Circuit, SME Bank, it's always what the customer experiences that makes our product better. So the customer is going to give us feedback about the product. So let's say they think that the price is too high, or they think that your quality is bad. But if you're a brand that listens to your customers, you surely get their loyalty. And that's how you enhance your product, or create a new service line, or create a new product line based on what your customer feedback is. So those companies that pay attention to that, like, even Amazon, Coke, all the big brands, they pay attention to what the customers are saying, and they make sure the customers are happy. Yeah.
I think this is very crucial, but I think you actually made a very good point, which is about making sure that you also have your services and product at utmost, standard, so that if not, you're able to catch them one time, but you will not be able to retain them, right? So
Yeah.
that's a very good answer. So you see, I think you said that you were very proud that you had that opportunity to be part of this campaign. I think it was in 2002, is it, according to the title?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm sure that trend has changed over time. In 2002, I think I was still doing my SPM or something. So yeah. So I'm sure that this over 18 years, from 2002 to 2020, a lot of things have changed. There are latest trends. Not only yearly, it could change monthly or daily. So how do you stay updated with the using the latest tools, and even to stay update with whatever trends that is happening now?
I think one is using platforms like this, learning from other people who are also branding other companies. I've got a lot of friends who are looking at branding in a different perspective. So I always, try to participate in their conversations, and also upskilling myself in, either going to a short course about digital marketing, or even what is the latest TikTok ad that is out there. There's so many new channels to market your brand. So you just have to go out there and find out how do you market your brand on those channels. Yeah. So basically just learning every day.
Yeah. So I think that's very good. Being part of it, and then going into it. I also have a TikTok account, but of course I don't have the courage to do a TikTok. I mean, I did one or few just to have a taste of it. But you are right, going into it, able to see what are other young people doing today. I think that is also how we actually stay connected, and also know what are the young people interested in today. Wesley, over to you.
Yes, so just before I continue, perhaps Chesney, there's somebody saying hi to you. Because Jana Manso saying hi to you, Chesney.
Hi, Jana.
All right, and we have Tasmini saying hi to you as well. Hi.
Hi, Tasmini.
All right, so I've got a question. Okay, let's see whether do you have any other friends saying hi to you. We have Steven saying hi, and Vaisa saying hi to you.
Hi, everyone.
All right, so now I have follow-up question to that. So since you talk about marketing channel, so which marketing channels would be best to promote product? Or I would rephrase it, which marketing channel would work for which target market?
I think right now, for probably like Gen Z or millennials, Instagram will probably be the best channel. Instagram and TikTok. So, and then for slightly older generations, probably Facebook and LinkedIn. Depending on your marketing campaign. But essentially, you still have the traditional media that still works, like billboards and print ads and radio ads. So you don't forget those channels too, to make sure that you're just out there at all times. Basically, you just want people to always remember your brand. And sometimes, maybe you don't have the marketing dollars or marketing budget to do all the channels. What I would first do is find out where your target audience spends their most time in. So basically, if you're targeting a certain age group or probably a key area of the product, then you find out where they at, so, or where do they consume their content from. So, I mean, LinkedIn surprisingly has been very, very good for a lot of brands, and not many people have taken advantage of that. We also have, again, the new channel, which is TikTok, where everybody's obsessed about creating the next best video. So, yeah.
I have a follow-up question to this. So we have another friend saying hi to you. We got Ming Hong saying hi to you as well, Chesney. Yeah, my follow-up question would be, so since you talk about knowing where your customers are at, so now from the corporate standpoint, since you're in the marketing and communications, right, how would you validate where they consume the materials? Do you have like a certain survey, or do you go down to the ground, or how do you validate that?
We usually, what we do is we either do a test campaign, or we could also even do a poll or survey regarding where people would like about your brand or like about your product. But mostly, we tie in with a lot of third-party vendors who already know the market. So social listening is one of the major things. So who are actually searching your brand, and a lot of digital marketing campaigns, digital marketing vendors have that information, and they know where the people are. So we kind of skip the research part because they've already done it. But we do it every year to make sure that we're still on target with our audience.
All right, so thanks for sharing that. And for those of you who have just joined in halfway through, and again today we have Chesney, who's the head of marketing communication from Unimi. Today we're going to talk about how to market your brand to help you, all of you here during the Sales and Marketing Breakthrough Week Volume 5. All right, and again, I want to just ask you, just now we asked you about like your favorite marketing campaign. So let's go to the other spectrum. Have you ever participated in a marketing campaign that didn't work out quite well? What went wrong, and how would you do it differently if there's a next time for this?
Well, I would like to share with you a Petronas campaign that we did with Petronas, and one of the producers had suggested Takashi to be the talent in the Petronas ad. So they had spent maybe 3-4 million on the ad, and at the end of the day, they scrapped the ad after figuring out that it was showing too much road rage or road violence, that it would have been detrimental to the brand for us to show the ad eventually. So the ad was done, it was made, it was already produced, but when it reached the top of the I guess decision making, they all decided, yeah, we have to scrap it because it's not worth it to destroy the brand, even though it looked cool, or even though it looked really nice as an ad. So I mean that's basically one of the things about marketing campaigns is, one, you really need to know your brand. You need to make sure that you don't make I guess $1 million mistakes. And third is that you just have to make sure early on that you know what is going on, so you don't make that mistake again. Yeah. So do your research. That's what I would suggest.
Yeah. Are you gonna show us anything or something like that?
Yeah, sure. If you don't mind, it's just I'll try to share with the audio this time. Sorry about this now. Sorry.
Nah, it's okay. We are learning along the way. All right, while we're waiting for Chesney to share, for those of you here, we're going to show you an ad video based on Chesney's experiences in terms of the marketing video. And we're going to show you via a screen share. So just give us a moment.
Can you see the ad right now?
Yes, we could see. Yep. So let's have a look at this.
Is the audio okay?
Yeah, it's good.
Journal.
So yeah, that was the ad, and that we had to scrap eventually.
Wow, that's interesting. You got to scrap like, I mean, you told me just like 3-4 million, and you got to scrap it
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Basically, that was the ad we had to scrap.
Well, that was
But
a very costly
it
one.
was painful, but we learned from that experience to make sure that we're always representing the brand in the best way.
Oh,
So
that's
I think that's yeah. Wesley, you have something? No,
it's okay. Sure, sure.
I think this is the next thing that I'm very interested to ask. You see, because again, of course, Petronas has a bit of that budget to hire a superstar like him to be in your ads and etc. Whether I mean it works or it doesn't work, but at least there is they have the capacity, right? So this is actually my next question. I think there is a lot of saying that marketing, sometimes you need to work a lot with celebrities, you need to work with KOLs, you need to spend a lot of money. What do you personally think about a good marketing, or branding strategy, or what do you think is a good campaign? Does it really depend on the person inside, or just or is it because of the storyline, or what is it? What does it actually make a good campaign?
I think it's a balance of many things, and if you do want to do with a spokesperson, a brand influencer, I would suggest you try to see which people would reach out to your audience the fastest and most effective. But even a great storyboard, like if you have just a great storyboard, like just like a great movie, you can cast it with anyone if your storyline, your plot is good. So it really doesn't matter who is saying the story or who's telling the story. But of course, they will enhance it because they will reach their fans or they will reach their audiences faster. But if your plot or your storyline or your storyboard is good, I would say that beats spending money or just throwing it to a lot of the superstars out there, because you may not they have the same impact. So again, like I'll go back to the Petronas Merdeka ad. I mean, they didn't use any actors or actresses that were famous in that ad, but it still had the same impact. So so again, that boils down to the storyline.
I think this is very interesting that I actually also shared that with my team. Sometimes in certain campaigns, you don't really need to say that I must have a celebrity or I must have a KOL in it. But this again is my next question. So there are, of course, I hope that you can give some advice, right, on some of our friends there who are maybe SMEs. They are not corporates like Petronas. So, what are some of the things that they can do in terms of personal branding or company branding? Looking that they may not be able to have such a big budget, and how can they be uniquely different? Because again, it is easy, but it's not easy again to create storylines or storyboards, or there may be some repetitive as well whenever company A or B may be doing the same thing. So what are some of the tips and strategies for some of our SMEs and companies out there?
I think essentially, see what is your unique selling proposition that you have for your product or service, and then play on that. See where your niche market is. Like with Unimai, for example. I mean, I've been branding for the last year with them. Of course, their marketing budget is not as big as Petronas, but we've had some successful campaigns that I've run even through LinkedIn. We had a lot of key speakers come in from the industry talking about tech, for example, for Unimai. We wanted the brand to represent tech in many different ways. So by association, or what you call co-branding, you can get people to associate your brand to a certain industry or certain product market. And I also learned that in Walmart, where they co-merchandise. So, for example, you would put like a Coke can next to something that like a potato chips. So you're co-branding your brand with the top brand for soda, for example, just so that your brand can get out there. So that's what we do with the SMEs that don't have the budget. I would suggest they co-brand with either the leader in the market, if they want to be known in the industry. So for Unimai, we teamed up with Amazon Web Services, Google, a lot of the tech companies that are already out there, Cisco, so again, you use the leverage of their brand to brand yourself. So that's what I would suggest SMEs to do, and that doesn't cost much, because you can probably just sign a memorandum of understanding with them to do a industry partnership, or you can even do an event with them, or so you just so many ways that you can get your brand out there without having to spend a lot of money. That's what I would suggest. Yeah.
Okay, so I have a follow-up question on this, Chesney. So it's a good idea to brand by association, or you term it as co-branding. So I think a lot of SMEs would think that, hey, my company is a small company. Who am I to speak to big companies like them? So how would you advise fellow SMEs, now knowing that their businesses may not be as huge, how would you suggest them to approach bigger brands? How do you recommend them for them to pitch?
Sometimes it's all about networking. So I would suggest that they show up at a lot of the industry events, or even you can even link in the CEO of the company, or link in the marketing manager of the company. And I've done that for so many events, and they do reply. Don't think they won't reply. They do reply. I got a HP sponsorship through LinkedIn. There's so many things you can do without having to know someone. You just have to just reach out and reach out to them. Yeah.
Right. So and here's another interesting question that I would like to know. So I mean, you talk about presence, you talk about co-branding and all. Now, what about on a consistent basis of doing marketing? So what would you recommend fellow SME business owners, salespeople, or even marketers? On a daily basis, do you have a certain strategy on what to post or what contents to put online?
Well, one, you need to know what's happening around the target market. What is, of course, now everybody's talking about the pandemic or MCO. For example, what's happening right now in people's daily lives, or what is happening in their office, and then associate that with your campaign. So, for example, recently we did a Unimai Cares campaign where we thank the frontliners with an Ella song, which was the one of the songs that people remember, and I think it's by association of that and what is currently trending that allows them to recall your brand. So I think right now, I mean, people are still in the Raya mode, for example. So how do you tie in the Raya mood and then still being, kind of like still MCO, and how do you still allow that to I mean, it's interesting how we have gotten so used to these online meetings in a short span of 3 months, So again, what are people doing now, and associate that and do a campaign around it. So next week we're running a new TikTok campaign from Unimai. So hopefully that will go viral. So again, we're just keep trying and testing the market and doing what is trending. That's what I would advise SMEs to do.
Okay, so I Lawrence, let me follow up, because I got this one burning question. Now, Shazmi, you spoke a lot about the campaign itself. So my question is, what should we do before the campaign starts, or the pre-launch, or what should we? I mean, how do we? So when you launch the campaign, a lot of people will go in there. So what should we do during the pre-launch?
I think look if you really know your market, you should look at what your competitors are doing. So a lot of times people always look within and they forget to look what is around you. So let's say your competitor, your top three or top five competitors are going a certain way. Like, they will be, saying certain things, to get people's attention. Then you got to figure out how do you mute their voice and then make yours more louder than them. So and your campaign needs to stand side by side their current campaign and see how it fares, because even in Petronas we had what you call a competitor war room, where we would put up Shell, BP, and all their competitors ads side by side, Petronas ads, and you can actually predict what ads they will produce next based on just that. So with that information, you can even preempt your competitors' ads before they come out with the ad. So always keeping ahead of your competitors is what I would suggest SMEs to always research doing and see what your competitors are doing. Or if you're trying to create your own market, then really try an idea out of the box. Yeah, that's what I would suggest.
I think I think you give a very important statement, which is timing, right? Everything is
Yeah.
about timing. You hit on the right time. It's just you just need less than what few minutes before somebody actually posted something
Yeah.
before you that is similar. I think that one is actually making a lot of difference. So I heard you shared a lot about your Unimind going into TikTok and things, and I heard about you speaking about LinkedIn. I think there are multiple platforms today. There's so many of it. So how can actually companies or even personal, even for personal branding purposes or company branding, so how do we decide which are the platforms which are suitable, and what type of contents are actually suitable or done differently in different platforms?
I think essentially you first have to build your site, your website, your own website, because that all the social media does is point towards your own site. So if you have a site that you can call home, either it's a Facebook website or your own domain, that will be the first thing that you need to develop so that people can come to that page at all times. But I understand, like Instagram, for example, some retailers or some big brands drive their sales through Instagram, for example, and you can even shop through Instagram now. So again, it's your target audience. Where are they going to spend most of their time in? And that's where you should put your marketing dollars. That's basically you can even target one or two different ones. Just like YouTube or LinkedIn, or really based on the audience that you're going for. But don't forget, um, for example, for Unimind, we had to target two different audiences. So we had to target the student and also the parent, because basically, yeah, the student will decide on which university they want to go to, but it's the parent that's paying for the studies. So they will be influenced by that, and they would then influence their kid to decide which university they will go to. So I would suggest really take a look at the different audiences you're reaching out to, and figure out, okay, so maybe there's another one campaign that's right for this audience, and then another campaign for the second audience. So I mean, that's what I would suggest.
Yeah. So speaking of which, you talk about all these marketing campaigns, right? So now I have one question for you. So based on your experience, how do we cope with our marketing strategy moving forward during RMCO onwards? Would you foresee marketing strategies would change over time?
Yeah, I've seen. I mean, a lot of businesses have pivot through this MCO, or even basically they did have decided. I mean, I think this MCO and this pandemic has wiped out a lot of industries, like travel industry, airline industry. But it's how fast you pivot to the current situation. So in terms of marketing, you do the same thing. So right now, people are not gonna be outside where billboards are, for example, because they're not going out a lot. So, but then people are spending a lot more time on their computers. People are spending a lot more time on their mobile phone, or they're listening to the news on the radio. So then you kind of gotta spend the money where people are at. So that's what I would suggest. Really pivot and know where your audiences is currently, looking at your content. But in terms of content, I think pay attention to what kind of content would stand out. A lot of people spend a lot of money with digital marketing ads, but they're also boring. Like you don't, people just like, swipe up, and they don't really see your ad. So really pay attention to what content you put up there. You don't want to waste your marketing dollars on that too.
So based on your experience, right, what would be viral marketing concepts that have been working for you?
I think you need to pair a digital marketing campaign with on the ground campaign. So, for example, you may have like an ad in Facebook or Instagram, but maybe when they go to a mall or if they go to an event, they would still see your brand and have the presence there, so they can ask you questions. Because a lot of like people prefer the face to face. They actually prefer word of mouth marketing compared to any other marketing because they trust people. You would listen to your neighbors or your family if they said, "Hey, try this brand because I've had a good experience." So a lot of people are going to trust their neighbors, or they're going to trust their parents, or they're going to trust their friends because they've already tried and experienced your brand. So pay attention to that because that doesn't really cost a lot. Basically you just have to make sure that they have a good experience with your brand. That's it. And that you can ensure that, making sure that your the customer service or your product is good quality. So yeah, that's what I would suggest.
That's very, 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 very good and straightforward answer. Actually, to continue on that question, I want to ask, what are some of your, I will not use the word tips, but some of the tricks. You see, of course, not everybody is very creative. Not everybody has a lot of inspiration. I don't think I have a lot of this sometimes. So, what are some of the ways that we can actually get creative? How can we get creative? How can we start to have inspiration? How are some of the ways that we can actually generate more ideas? What are some of the things that maybe you can share of how you do it? Because I'm very interested to see what is. I mean, of course, the late Yasmin. Yasmin is definitely somebody that everybody looked up to, especially in the industry. So how do we actually get this kind of ideas or inspirations? What are some of the ways we can actually,
Well, I meditate a lot, so but I think mostly I do look at other people's ads or other people's campaigns, and you see who are the top viral campaigns out there, and also listening to your customers, what they want is also, it gives you the ideas of how your campaign should run, because they basically will either say good things or say bad things about your campaign if it worked or not worked. So the other tip is also to make sure that you're giving them the content that they in bite size. In bite size meaning that it's not too long or too short. So basically they can remember it, for life. Yeah, that's what we try to aim to do.
So yeah, but I think sometimes inspirations just come, right? Some people just
Yeah. Sometimes it just comes in your sleep. Sometimes.
yeah. I think for people like Wesley is when he has his coffee, then things just come by. I just have this very simple question. I do not know if it's good to answer, but what are your thoughts about repetitive ideas. I mean, for example, if let's say somebody else has done it before, but somehow that your campaign or your marketing efforts or whatever has some similarity. Of course, it is not intentional. I mean, it's not plagiarizing. But how do you see this? I mean, do you see this as, oh, it's so boring, no fresh idea, or is it just fine? I mean, what do you think about this?
I guess it again depends on the content, because someone may come up with a really fun 30-second ad or not, so, and it could be on the same idea. And I would pay attention to your creative team. The creative team actually determines how a product or a service ad will come out, and brainstorming with them, telling them the key promise, brand promise, and what you're trying to, the message that you want to consistently get across to your customers, to make sure that that is represented in your ad. So a lot of times people just leave it up to the agency to do it. But I think basically you have to make sure your brief is so precise that they can get the message that you need out there. And it's okay if again, as I said, we had the bad experience with Takashi. Again, you might screw up sometimes, but it's okay. You learn from the mistake and then you carry on and go to the next campaign.
So I think what you say is right? So I'm sure you have done works in team before, right? In a team, you give your idea and everybody else chip in their ideas. So how do you actually bounce your ideas with your team? And I mean, everybody may say that their idea is the most creative, right? Or their idea is the most impactful. So how do you go about this? I mean, when you propose A and somebody else propose B, how do you the right word is not resolve, but I think you know what I mean. How do you actually come into a understanding that, all right, let's go with that?
Sometimes it's intuition, but also sometimes it's you can take a vote or see the majority what they say. But also you can do an A/B test. You know what an A/B test is? Like how tech companies, when they launch a product or a website, they test two different types of their website to the same audience. And basically you can A/B test a marketing campaign and see how it performs. And then you put in more dollars to the campaign that actually works better. So always have a backup plan, always have two different campaigns that you can run for each product launch or each thing, so that you can test it. It's okay. People are very open to that idea of having the same campaign but in two different content or two different channels. So yeah, that's what I would suggest. Yeah, but to kind of like make sure that you are choosing the right idea, go with your gut feel. That's what I would say. I think that's worked for me all throughout the years.
Thank you so much for that. I mean, going with a gut feel, I guess, is like the more experience that you have, the sharper your gut feel would be, I guess. Yeah. And then Shazny, do you have any last advice for our viewers out there in terms of marketing their brand?
I would say don't give up. You may be going through a hard time, especially now. It's a hard times for everyone now. So I think basically just believe in your brand. If you believe in your brand, everyone will believe in your brand too. But unless that happens, it'll be hard for them to believe in your brand. So once you believe in your own brand, I think everyone will just follow. That's my advice.
All right, thank you very much for that. And since you talk about belief, I think it's very important for our fellow salespeople not just believe in their brand, in their product themselves, especially during this time. All right, so that comes in very timely. And Lawrence, you unmuted your mic. You want to share something, Lawrence?
Yeah, I just want to say, Shazny, thank you so much. I think I really learned something over here. Guts is definitely something that sometimes I'm lack of, because I'm a very careful person. I think Wesley knows me very well. I'm not a perfectionist, but I'm also very careful when when I decide on certain things that we do. So I think guts is very important. Very, thank you so much for the encouragement. But I think the other point is I always make myself to play an effort is to immerse myself in it so that I can feel it myself, I can understand it myself. So, Shasni, although it's first time that I met you, thank you so much for coming to our live show. I'm sure there's a lot more opportunities that my team, in the future can have a session with you and learn from you further. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really had fun today. Thanks so much, Wesley. Thanks so much,
All
Dr.
right.
Laura.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
And Chesney, just before we end, we normally have a tradition. We're going to take a group picture. So how we're going to do is that just look at the camera and I will just take a screenshot over from my end. Yeah. So just look at the camera. All right. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. All right. Thank you very much for your time, Chesney. I hope that you have enjoyed this interview. And for those of you viewers out there, thank you so much for your time. And we got Charlene saying good evening to everyone. We got Wei Jin saying hi here as well. Not too late to join. You can still watch the replay. Yeah, and again, thank you so much for your time, Chesney. It's been very helpful, and I love the experiences that you share about the advertisement and all. Yeah, thank you so much for your time. All right,
Thank you. Bye. Good night.
Bye-bye, good night. So I'm going to remove you from the screen as we have a few announcements to make. Thank you, Chesney.
All right. No problem. Bye.
Bye. All right, so here we have, so it's interesting interview that we have. Lawrence, you want to say anything to our friends out there?
Yeah, I just want to apologize. I've not been feeling very well in terms of my eyes. I think it's like what Wesley said, it's a bit swollen. So that's why I'm a bit, my eyes become very sepet now. But I just want to share with my audience, this is scary. So let's just go back to it. So I just want to say this, from today onwards, Sales and Marketing Breakthrough Week will come into live comms Facebook. It's a new initiative by MyPrinters. So I hope that slowly we will. I hope that you share with your friends and join us on live comms Facebook. But at the same time, I just want to share. Please subscribe. The YouTube channel is still the same, MyPrinters School of Life. And for more, to keep updated on what MyPrinters is doing, just join us on our Telegram channel at this link, https t.me/myprinters, and we update our campaigns, our events, our Facebook lives, our greetings, writings, everything is on the group. So just join us on our Telegram group. And I want to say thank you so much, Wesley. I think you've done a very good job over this past 80 days. And I think he has an ebook that he wants to share, Wesley.
Yep, and as well, for those of you watching this, I want to thank you for your time. And of course, last but not least, I would like to give all of you as a gift. And for those of you who have already downloaded this, for those of you who have not, let me share this with you. So I prepared an ebook on the next 14 days. It's called a 14-day breakthrough action plan in order to help all of us here to achieve breakthrough in sales and marketing throughout this time. And again, for those of you here, you want to take this opportunity to make use of this and to benefit from this. So just check it out on tiny.cc sales and marketing, and you will get a free copy of this ebook for absolutely no charges, just to help you as a gesture of token appreciation. Yep. And again, I want to thank all of you for your time. Thanks for joining this late night show, Sales and Marketing Breakthrough Week, Volume 5. And yep, any last words that we have, Lawrence?
No, we will keep you all posted on the next session. So stay tuned. We will have more speakers coming in the future.
All right. So with that, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for your time. And for those of you here, even though we're in RMCO, stay safe, continue to stay safe, take care, and we will see you very soon. And till then, everybody, thank you. Signing off, Wesley Chan and my fellow co-host,
Lawrence. Bye-bye.
From Live Comms. Bye-bye.